Aftermarket parts. These are high-end attachments with a gimmick. They can do anything from helping you with recoil and your ADS speed to completely changing how the weapon functions. Hi, I'm Flaky, and today I'm going to go through every single aftermarket part in the game as of Season 1 Reloaded and find out which ones are worth using. Let's grab our gear and drop right into the 3D printed rabbit hole. Welcome to the world of aftermarket parts. The Jack Nightshade Rifle Kit for the GG58 LSW. This conversion kit focuses on a more assault rifle roll, going down to a 30 round mag with options for 20 and 40 rounds as well. This also includes a headshot damage reduction of 28.3%. You do, however, gain good mobility numbers, with your ADS time actually getting a almost 40% speed boost, as well as improvements to all forms of speed and tactical spread. This specialization to a more close quarters role was further cemented with a 304% increase to horizontal recoil. Jesus Christ, the recoil on this gun is abhorrent. It makes it such a chore to hold continuous accurate fire on anything past 15 meters. It really does feel like an assault rifle with light machine gun recoil. It makes the weapon feel very awkward to use at times. Your options to tackle this issue are also limited by the fact you're unable to modify the underbarrel and barrel categories for this weapon. After you do find a build that does work for you, the bottom line of this gun is that I would say that it is not bad. The movement speed increase can make the gun feel a lot more responsive and mobile, which can be very beneficial in situations where you need to play more defensively. The overall damage is pretty fair. Even though your headshot damage is noticeably decreased, it does not make the weapon feel too weak. I still feel confident using this weapon for Tier 3 and Dark Aether 1s. There are most definitely better options available to you, but as a offshoot option for a new fun gun to try, I would wholeheartedly recommend giving it a try at least once. That is, at least if you can get past the fact this gun has more plastic in it than an Instagram influencer. The Jack Signal Burst for the Holger 556 and DM56. At the time of this video, this is the only conversion kit that is available on two weapons, making it very unique in the way that provides more options for building your kit. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see that because the DM56 is bugged again. On top of this gun causing your rarity to revert back to gray and sometimes disappearing altogether, the DM56 is unable to load into the match with the aftermarket part, making this attachment completely inaccessible in zombies. This gun has been bugged for quite some time, even with the pack-a-punch not even working on this gun for the first month the game was out. It's just adding insult to injury at this point. But what about the Holger version of this kit? I don't think it's very good. Its first blunder is that it blocks access to barrel and laser categories of attachments. Second is its trigger response. You actually lose out on killing potential because of your slower fire rate. It seems like this was more designed to be used on the DM56 because it has higher shot damage compared to the Holger. You will be much better off with a Holger in full auto than in burst. And lastly, its application in combat. This just further adds to my previous points. The Holger's place was always to be an all-rounder assault weapon, being able to do high damage with a moderate rate of fire and staying mobile. That's this gun's bread and butter. This attachment slows you down ADS and sprint to fire wise noticeably, and considering your lack of access to aim down sight attachments without cons, this can make finding a sweet spot of speed and controllability worse, not even mentioning your lack of killing potential that would soar from this attachment. Whenever the DM56 is fixed, I will revisit this conversion kit to see if it's any better, but as of right now, you are much better off ignoring this waste of an attachment slot. The Jack Annihilator Bullpup Kit for the Pulemyote, the Pulemyote. This bullpup kit decreases your range and your tactical reload speed for gains to your recoil, rate of fire, and speed. Some of the best benefits include a 22% ADS speed boost and a 30% boost to ADS movement speed. This allows you to strafe at a much higher speed than before, allowing you to hold more accurate fire without making yourself an easy target. This LMG was already a good weapon to use. Throwing a 200 round belt on this with armor piercing rounds makes this thing an absolute monster. What more can I really say about this thing? Go out and try it yourself. Teach your undead comrades all about bullet penetration. The XRK IPv2 conversion kit for the Core 45. This conversion kit gives your pistol a promotion to an SMG/PDW like role, give you more range, velocity, recoil, and rate of fire, at the cost of a 33% increase to ADS time and 15% increase to sprint to fire time. It also opens up customization of the weapon with access to SMG grade grips, optics, and several new stocks. But there is one last trick up this aftermarket parts sleeve. The description mentions its rate of fire buff, but not the binary trigger that it added. Now you may be wondering, what's a binary trigger? Long story short, a binary trigger allows you to fire your weapon when you pull the trigger and again when you release the trigger. So it turns your little handgun that fired like this into this. Oh yeah, I definitely wasn't kidding when I said this thing fits an SMG role. The rate of fire increase on this aftermarket part alone makes it a must pick. Your killing potential with this goes up immensely, even with the 25% damage decrease. It doesn't matter in the slightest when you can spit so much lead out in such a short amount of time. This thing is a perfect companion to the fast moving operator who wants to lay down high fire and stay mobile at the same time. Another benefit that comes from this is the fact that it's still considered a pistol in game, so it has the ability to be used while down or while hanging or climbing, which allows versatile to be added to the list of buzzwords I can say about this kit. This one is a personal favorite of mine, and it truly earns its place as one of the best aftermarket parts in the game right now. Seriously, start using this part right now. You will not regret it. The Jack a 10 double barrel kit for the AMR9. This kit outfits your submachine gun with a second barrel to increase damage output, as well as increases to your rate of fire and a decrease to your hip fire and aim down sight spread. This makes this one of the only attachments I've come across that affects your ADS spread. This gun really leans into a close quarters role, as the accuracy is noticeably much worse when it comes to its recoil control and the as aforementioned ADS spread. Because of this, I find the attachment to be negligible at best. Just based on my in-game usage of the attachment, I found that the damage increase to be non-existent at times. I think it's more to how the weapon fires. It functions more like a 2-round auto burst than a fully automatic action with 2 barrels going at the same time. Because of this, the double barrel gimmick of this conversion kit can feel like it functions worse than without the aftermarket part. On top of this attachment restricting modification of barrel and muzzle attachments, this causes the AMR9 to feel mediocre at best and like it doesn't even work at its worst. I spent extra time on this attachment alone because I really like the AMR9 at its base level, but no matter the setup, I feel like you are better off not using this attachment. Do not believe the hype on this one. The Jack Headhunter Carbine Conversion Kit for the Rival 9. This kit is another burst conversion in a similar vein to the Holger and AMR9 aftermarket parts. This part removes access to full auto and the ability to mod the barrel, in exchange for a 6.5% increase to base damage, a effective range buff to 25.4 meters, and a slash to recoil across the board. Now you will take a 28% hit to your rate of fire, a 30% increase to hip fire spread, and decreases to almost all forms of speed. However, these speed debuffs in particular still allow for better than assault rifle handling, so you won't be affected too much to spend all of your attachment slots trying to fix this. This kit blends itself very well to the Rival 9. One of its main drawbacks was its damage fall offs. It can make you run through much more ammo than otherwise necessary, but with the increase to your range by 150%, it allows you to dish out more damage over range than the base SMG ever could. you will find that the rate of fire decrease is not to be a factor as long as you are hitting your headshots. Pair this with a good suppressor, a stock to push your ADS movement speed a little bit further, an ADS laser, and dead saw daiquiri, and you will find a burst carbine with snappy handling, perfect for zoning your enemies away from you. This is the gold standard of burst conversions in this game, and I highly recommend giving it a try if you're looking for a much faster handling burst weapon. The MCW 6.8 Full Auto Conversion Kit. For the MCW 6.8. Oh, come on guys, you couldn't have named this something. You can tell the amount of work that was put into this conversion kit just by the name alone. This kit adds full auto functionality, so much so that it will become your only form of fire with the gun, even though there's clearly a working fire selector modeled, but I digress. The description also reads that it increases the magazine capacity. By how much, you might ask? By none. The answer is 0. This mag buff is currently bugged and does not work. It most likely would be an increase to 30 rounds if I had to take a wild guess, but until it is fixed, we do not know for sure. As I said before, tons of hard work went into this conversion kit. But enough bullying, let's actually talk about the kit. This weapon fires and functions much more like a battle rifle, slow firing, hard hitting, with high recoil. This weapon has a ton of recoil, which can make it hard to control at times at range. But luckily, we got a new attachment that was added at the release of Season 1 Reloaded, a new muzzle called the JAK BFB. This muzzle brake gives you a major slash to all of your recoil across the board at the cost of ADS speed and movement, with sprint to fire included as well. You also have an increase to your sound profile, and this is reflected on the minimap in multiplayer, but as for zombies, this does not matter. However, the exact effect of the sound profile in zombies is a question for another time. There we go, that's much better. Now, back to the MCW. This weapon gains a rate of fire buff to 400 rounds per minute, with headshot damage being cut in half and other forms of damage getting cut anywhere between 10 to 20% depending on your shot location. This makes the weapon weaker than its base model, but it does not feel like a true con in the long haul, as your ability to dish out more fire goes a long way as opposed to having high single shot damage with a low fire rate. It functions much like a battle rifle as previously mentioned. The one major drawback you will have to deal with is that your magazine category is locked, so you are permanently locked to a basic 20 round mag. So keep an eye on your ammo, as reloading will be a common sight as you use this weapon. If this doesn't bother you, you can definitely make this weapon work. It's not nearly as effective compared to its peers in the marksman and battle rifle categories, but if you want to try something different, try out this mod, just in case you wanted to use the Sidewinder's mediocre cousin. The Jack Raven Kit for the MCW. The cooler MCW. This conversion kit is a full ammo swap to 300 blackout. Because of this, you will up your rate of fire to 800 rounds per minute, with further gains to your hip fire and tactical spread, with stat-wide speed buffs ranging from 2.6 to 22.4%. You will also take a heavy increase to gun kick and horizontal recoil, as well as hits to all forms of range, and a last debuff being catered towards your damage, but this is negligible when you consider the damage at close range buff. The range is roughly about 5 meters, but the damage? It's the type of damage only a duct tape salesman can repair. The damage increase makes up for any of the other cons this kit brings, but oh my god, does this thing kill. You can deal some serious damage out in tier 3 with just a purple pack 3 upgrade on this thing, and it'll kill just like an orange pack 3 weapon. This juggernaut of a weapon does not lock you out of any attachment categories either. The worst thing this attachment does is lock you out of a 60 round mag, leaving your max ammo capacity at 40, meaning that your max size when you consider pack-a-punch is relegated to 80 rounds. This can be something to consider, as your damage potential has a much faster drop off because of that high damage boost at close range, but this weapon lives by the motto of keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I know I said earlier that I thought the Core 45 was the best conversion kit, but this one takes the cake after my testing. This attachment is an absolute must if you want to make the MCW one of the best ARs in the game. If there is only one thing you take away from this video, it's that you grab the Jack Raven kit and equip it to your build right now. The Jack Beholder Rifle Kit for the tier. This kit adds a barrel and stock to your tier, allowing you to use tactical stance, as well as have increases to your recoil control, bullet velocity, and your range, all at the cost of a all-round speed hit. The role with this kit is to allow your tier to fit a more marksman-like role in a secondary package. The first problem I have with this kit is the fact you still hold it like a pistol. The second problem is that it feels unnecessary. In zombies, we are not forced to pick between a primary and a secondary weapon. We are free to use whatever. So when looking at the tier and its aftermarket part, the speed boosts are the only thing that is a standout against the class that it's competing with. Don't get me wrong, the tier is not a bad weapon by any means, and it has some really good damage per shot. However, you don't have any options for more mag space. With the kit on, you are locked for modifying the barrel, stock, and the rear grips become completely useless. This limits the tier's ability to fit any other actual role as anything other than a boss killer, which there are many other weapons that can do this job and do it better. And speaking of course without considering snake shot rounds, which segues into that. You actually lose the range buff you get with this aftermarket part when you equip snake shot rounds, making the one real reason I could personally make a point about using this attachment null and void. I personally cannot vouch for it, as it tries to fill a role it cannot statistically compete in, making its whole application a very lackluster one. There are much better options for you if you are looking for a fast handling, precision, high damage weapon. The Jack Ferocity Carbine Kit for the Renetti. This converts... Wait, what? Oh no. Please don't. I really don't. Please don't. No! The Jack Ferocity Carbine Kit for the Renetti. This conversion kit aims to follow the same path as the Core 45 and its kit, to fill a SMG/PDW role while still offering you the amenities of a pistol. Your pistol is going to be converted to full auto fire while still retaining the same rounds per minute of a 620. You will take hits to all forms of your speed as usual affairs, an increase in horizontal and vertical recoil, as well as a decrease to overall recoil, and capping off the changes, you will lose access to some of your damage numbers from beforehand, but gain an increase to range. This kit is a fun one. Any gun that is full auto for the most part is pretty viable in the right hands, and this gun is no different. It's not a huge damage dealer, but it allows you to hold SMG style damage against your enemies while staying mobile. You will lose access to your barrel and trigger action categories, but you do gain access to a variety of stocks and SMG grade underbarrel grips and optics, allowing you to have more options for your builds. The other perks of this are from the fact it is a pistol. This means that you will be able to use it while you are down or while climbing, hanging, or anything that you could do with a pistol. All in all, this is a very solid pick for the Renetti. It's a great backup weapon to fill the role of a fast handling zombie killer. You know, as long as you can get past the copious amounts of 3D plastic from the printer that this was made on. The Jack Thunder LMG kit for the Sidewinder. This aftermarket part aims to turn this battle rifle into a light machine gun with all the pros and cons that come with it. You are going to take a flat 33% decrease to all forms of damage, with all forms of speed also taking a hit. What you do gain is a 50 round drum, the biggest magazine attachment the Sidewinder has to offer, and your only choice for a mag, as the entire category will be locked, as well as a fire rate that increases the longer you fire your weapon, allowing you to go from slow firing battle rifle to the jackhammer that wakes you up at 5 in the morning. This thing shreds through zombies like butter. The fire rate caps out pretty quick, and you get 100 rounds of ammo when you pack a punch the Sidewinder, enabling you to send pure hatred out of your barrel, allowing you to bulldoze anything coming your way. Keep in mind that you will be moving slower as due to the aftermarket part, so plan accordingly around it, or add some attachments to help you with your aim walking speed, and just let this thing spray. This is the newest aftermarket part that has been added to the game, and hopefully this is the kind of quality conversions we can expect in the future, because this thing is perfect for zombies, and all the killing potential and mayhem the game mode has to offer. The Jack Heretic Carbine Kit for the MTZ-762. The point of this kit is to sacrifice stopping power for faster and easier handling, hitting you with a 22% damage decrease with a velocity hit included as well, and a 27% hit to attack stance spread. In return, you gain various speed increases, gains to your hipfire spread, and a 30% slash to recoil. With no attachment slots being locked because of your aftermarket pick, it makes this conversion a pretty standard pick. Its biggest drawback being the damage is not necessarily a total loss with your speed increase. It also ups your rate of fire to a 600 rounds per minute. It would not be something I would personally use, but the choice is there for you ultimately if you decide to go and use this aftermarket part. It's up to you as a player to decide if that speed boost is worth it or not. The WSP Akimbo Brace Stock for the WSP Swarm. Rounding out our list of conversion kits is the fan favorite in the community, the Akimbo Brace. This kit allows you to dual wield 2 Uzis just like your favorite action hero growing up. You will take hits to your per shot damage, your rate of fire, and all applicable speed factors, with sprint to fire getting the biggest hit with 63%, while the only real stat buffs are your hipfire spread and your swap speed. You will lose access to your stock and underbarrel categories, but everything else is fair game. So feel free to equip that 100 round drum and have some fun with this thing. That is the main reason I would personally use this. It's just really fun to use. It can hold its own against zombies, but anything above an armored zombies in terms of lethality will struggle and take time to deal with, if you don't run out of ammo first, that is. You only have 600 rounds, so be sure to keep picking up ammo or you'll be left in hot water really quickly. But as long as you got this thing still firing, prepare for one of the funnest conversion kits to use right now. Woo, that took a while. 14 conversion kits at the time of making this video, with many more to come I imagine. But we are not quite done yet. We still have to talk about the universal aftermarket parts. These attachments are not locked to 1 or 2 weapons only. You can use these on a variety of weapons. Now we only have 6, with 4 of them being optics, but I still want to talk about them, as some of them are really good to use. The Jack BFB. I mentioned this one earlier and I meant what I said. This attachment is the single best one for recoil. You can completely erase recoil from some guns with this thing. Just make sure you offset the ADS and aim walking speed debuffs. The Cronin N-Class MSP-12. This sight comes with a laser that cannot be stacked with anything in the laser category for an ADS speed boost, with tighter hipfire and tactical spread. The Jack Purifier. I had high hopes for this one. A underbarrel flamethrower is something I wanted to see since Black Ops 1 had them, but this attachment does not have a lot of killing potential. With a very small 300 points of fuel in the tank that can only be refueled by resupply cases or max ammos only, you could make this work if it was only lacking one area of either damage or ammo, but since it is both, it makes this attachment unviable in most situations outside of stacking this with napalm bursts and harassing manglers. The Entlas CAS-14. This 2.5 times optic comes with a laser to mitigate any ADS debuffs you get from a magnified scope of this kind. You can also combine this with a spread buff across the board. The Jack Bullseye. It doesn't add anything but a new precision sight picture. Do I really need to explain why you shouldn't use this? And lastly, the KR Intlas LSJ-3. A 4x scope with another integrated laser sight, offering tighter hipfire spread and tactical spread with an ADS speed boost. Do keep in mind you will lose the ability to use tactical stance. And that rounds up today's video. That is every single aftermarket part in Modern Warfare Zombies as of Season 1 Reloaded. I hope that this video was informative as well as useful to you. Thank you so very much for watching to the end and supporting my channel. I cannot thank you enough for all the feedback and comments on my previous videos. Please feel free to share your experiences, tips, and feedback on the aftermarket parts. And if there's anything you would like to see next from me, be sure to let me know down below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Have a beautiful day, and remember, keep your head on a swivel.